I changed my mind and abandoned the project again. Please forgive my voice, I have a little cold. In my last video, I talked about writing and drawing my third one shot to challenge myself and to get out of my comfort zone. The idea was a sci-fi silent one shot with all male cast placed in a space station. This would improve my male character drawing, and the silent part would make writing easier. But also, it means I'll have to focus more on the storytelling and the body language. So I got to work, wrote the scene, gathered the references, and practiced drawing men. The good thing is, I kind of improved, but in the midst of my research and reference gathering, I felt that I just didn't care this much about sci-fi. If I'm gonna sacrifice time after work, it better be something that I'm invested in. Doing a one-shot for the sake of challenge motivated me for a second. I have no emotional attachment whatsoever, neither to the character nor the setting. Working on it would not be that different from my day job, and I don't want to hate my drawing too. And it has gone to the project Limbo folder again. I've been asking myself how many times published authors discard their project before deciding on the one. I don't think they would start something that they wouldn't enjoy or care about. Or at least, in this wouldn't, I think. I don't know you, but I ain't gonna spend my time off working on something that I'm not passionate about. I decided that, but not before wasting my time researching. And this is not the first idea that I've discarded, or put on hold, or waiting for me to find a better idea to improve it. The advice that I hear often on YouTube is your first draft sucks and your first idea sucks. I had a lot of first ideas. Before visiting my project Limbo, let me take this occasion to talk about the project that I finished this year first. It's for me to not feel like a total failure. I've decided to start this adventure last year in September when I participated in the manga draft contest with Clip Studio Paint. And from that was born the Wandering Saint. The team was Legend, and instead of literally any story about a legend or a myth, I've decided on a group of adventurers that are named the Legends. They are legendary heroes, the savior of the people, applauded and worshipped like gods. And all that reputation, that legend, is just a clever marketing strategy propagated by the nuns nonetheless, that are in the scheme too. Their new addition is a powerful healer who is actually honest and wanted to do some good. And she did. Her reputation is real because she heals the poor and the rich alike, and even goes to the hard-rich villages. And they marketed her as the saint. The problem was that the legends and the abbess wanted her to work only on the rich to collect more. And my girl got pissed. She understood their scheme and wanted it to stop. Even if the legend's legend is a scam, the legend themselves are freaking powerful. And my girl had to use poison to neutralize them. She was not so lucky because the leader didn't drink. Her power doesn't just make the disease disappear. She has to take it in and process it in her body. Plot twist, she can also pass the disease to another host. And our big boss dies. So it's an open-ended story. We don't know if she killed the abbess or not. But in my head, she uses the nuns to hide the murders and propagate her story as a nomad healer who doesn't discriminate. And that's why the title was The Wandering Saint. That's also where I messed up big time. I should have just titled it The Saint, because no one can read my mind and there is no clue anywhere that explains why the hell the one-shot is named The Wandering Saint. And now my second one-shot for the Tapas and Kickstarter contest with the team Daydreaming, story about make-believe and exploring what it means to be a kid. I talked a little about it on the videos, about my emotional attachment to the character design of the mermaid. So it's the story of a little girl whose father broke a promise one too many. She didn't have the energy to bargain anymore or throw a fit, but simply gave up on hope and trust for her father. I tried to highlight that with the dispute between the parents. A kid doesn't have that much agency, and their entire lives are monitored by grown-ups. I myself wasn't allowed to throw a fit, or even given the occasion to explain my feelings when I was a child. I myself used the pretend game to have some sort of power over something. So she vented her frustration, pretending to be a powerful sea witch queen who takes things into her own hands. So my girl pretended to curse her father, and he witnessed the whole thing. To his credit, he did recognize his mistakes and tried to make it up by spending time with his family at the pool. At first, she wasn't that happy, calling him dad instead of daddy. This was to put some distance between them. But she came around and he became daddy again. Or so he thought. I don't know how she convinced her father to be at that precise position, but she managed to leap from the plank and knocked her father out. The daddy naming thing maybe was a ploy from the beginning, and so they were even. My girl is a bit mischievous. So those are the projects that I've finished since I've decided to draw comics. And then we have my personal project in Limbo. I wrote things, a lot of them, and I'm beginning to doubt myself in finding the right story that would really motivate me. Some are just draft and synopsis, for some I wrote long script and some I erased. I regret those. I could have kept them and reworked the draft. Yeah, mistakes were made and lessons were learned. I don't give them titles either. I've spent too much time thinking about the right one and got stuck trying to fit the narrative around it. Now I use code names until I find the right title. Project Night is the one that got very far after the one that I regretted erasing. I started writing the script in January and continued sporadically because I kept dotting. It was supposed to be a simple adventure story, the backstory of a legendary team that I could use later in another story, placed in the same world. I've written a simple outline and decided while writing the script to follow the Panzer approach. Stephen King's approach where he created the characters and pushed them into a situation that they have to resolve. You discover everything with your characters. It makes the act of writing more interesting in comparison to a totally built outline where there is no surprise for you. I was sold on it because the writing will be more immersive and fun as much as the drawing part. But it got complicated because I couldn't stop myself adding some spice to it. And because I started with an outline, the story became confusing. So it is on hold. I definitely come back to it. So the script got to 57 pages and I covered tons of references. Next is Project Bread, an isekai story that I've been thinking about even before Project Night. I want it to be a long story from the start, and following internet advice, I've put it on hold and tried to start with something shorter. But nothing stays simple with me. I visit this project now and then too as I improve my drawing and become more confident. So the script has 21 pages, it has maybe a bigger reference board than others, and the character design, at least I have faces. You can see clearly my evolution and that I come back sporadically to the project. First Love was also a one-shot for a contest. I couldn't just bring myself to write a straight-up love story. The main character transformed into a crazy girl who thought each time that her current boyfriend was the one. Each relationship would end up in a murder or traumatizing experience for each boy. And I think this is the same reason why I didn't end up in the view of any judge at all the contests. Totally off topic, and I can't stop myself from bringing some twist to it. And thank God, I had a tight deadline at work, so I wisely put it down. Also, I wanted to write a story for Inktober. I ended up just gathering references and abandoned the idea too close of a deadline and no time to prepare. So Project Cauldron involved witches. I have the main character in mind, as well as a backstory, a setting, and a wishy-washy situation. It's on hold too. I didn't bring myself to revisit it. Project Undead and Vampire are just synopsis drafts. So 8 projects that are in limbo without counting the erased one. In conclusion, I wasn't idle this year, I wasn't productive either. I keep bouncing back and forth. And yes, there is a new one. Project Gloves. I'm not promising anything, I'll explore it and we'll see. What about you? How many did you start and let go? Are you the same? Now I'm gone. See you next time. Bye.